Episode 18. Why Self-Knowledge is So Difficult. Episode 18. Most people believe they know themselves. They know their favorite food, their political opinions, their hobbies, their goals, their strengths, their weaknesses, and because they know these things, they assume they possess self-knowledge. Carl Jung disagreed. He believed genuine self-knowledge is one of the most difficult achievements in life, not because the self is hidden, but because the mind constantly protects itself from uncomfortable truths. Human beings are remarkably good at seeing flaws in other people. We notice arrogance, insecurity, jealousy, dishonesty, selfishness, cowardice. We spot these traits quickly, sometimes instantly, yet we often struggle to recognize the same qualities within ourselves. This is not because we are dishonest. It is because the ego has a job, and that job is protection. The ego wants consistency. It wants stability. It wants a positive image of who we are. Anything that threatens that image creates discomfort, and discomfort is something most people avoid. Imagine a man who sees himself as exceptionally honest. One day, he notices that he exaggerates stories to impress people. The discovery creates tension. Because the behavior conflicts with his identity, he has two choices. He can acknowledge the contradiction or deny it. Most people choose denial, not consciously, automatically. The mind protects the self-image, and self-knowledge becomes impossible. This process happens constantly. The generous person ignores their selfish moments. The brave person ignores their fear. The kind person ignores their resentment. The intelligent person ignores their ignorance. The ego edits reality, not because it wants truth, because it wants comfort. Jung understood that the greatest obstacle to self-knowledge is not lack of information, it is resistance. Resistance to seeing ourselves clearly. This resistance appears in countless forms: rationalization, projection, denial, blame, excuses, defensiveness. Each serves the same purpose: protecting the existing identity. Unfortunately, protection comes at a price. Growth stops, because growth requires awareness, and awareness requires honesty. Many people spend years studying the world. Few spend years studying themselves. They learn about politics, business, history, technology, psychology, yet remain strangers to their own minds. Jung believed that relationships often reveal what self-reflection misses. Every relationship becomes a mirror. The people who frustrate us, the people who attract us, the people who intimidate us, the people we admire, all reveal something about our internal world. The problem is that most people focus entirely on the other person. They never investigate the reaction. Imagine meeting someone whose confidence annoys you. You immediately label them arrogant. Perhaps they are. But Jung would ask another question. Why does this particular trait affect you so strongly? The answer may reveal something hidden. Perhaps you suppress your own confidence. Perhaps you fear appearing arrogant. Perhaps you secretly admire their freedom. Perhaps you envy their self-belief. The reaction contains information, but only if you are willing to examine it. Self-knowledge begins the moment curiosity becomes stronger than defensiveness. The moment you stop asking, "What is wrong with them?" and start asking, "What is happening inside me?" This shift changes everything, because attention moves inward, and transformation always begins inward. Jung believed dreams also provide valuable clues. During the day, the ego controls much of our awareness. At night, that control weakens. The unconscious begins speaking through symbols, stories, images, emotions. Many people dismiss dreams as meaningless. Jung saw them differently. He viewed dreams as messages from the unconscious, attempts by deeper parts of the psyche to communicate. The details matter less than the process. The unconscious is constantly trying to reveal something. The question is whether we are listening. Another obstacle to self-knowledge is fear, because genuine self-discovery is not always pleasant. Sometimes it reveals insecurity. Sometimes it reveals jealousy. Sometimes it reveals weakness. Sometimes it reveals selfishness. Many people assume self-knowledge should make them feel better. Often, it makes them feel worse, before it makes them feel better, because reality is rarely as flattering as fantasy. Yet reality is where growth happens. A person cannot improve what they refuse to see. They cannot heal what they refuse to acknowledge. They cannot transform what remains hidden. This is why Jung believed confronting the shadow was essential. The shadow contains everything we reject about ourselves, everything we hide, everything we deny, everything we avoid. The more material enters the shadow, the less self-knowledge becomes possible, because large portions of the personality remain hidden from conscious awareness. Many people spend years building an idealized image of themselves. They become attached to that image, defend that image, protect that image. Eventually, they value the image more than the truth, and that is where self-deception begins. The tragedy is not having flaws. Every human being has flaws. The tragedy is being unaware of them. An acknowledged weakness can be managed. An unconscious weakness controls behavior. This is why humility is so important. Humility creates space for learning. Arrogance closes the door. The person who believes they already know themselves stops growing. The person who remains curious continues evolving. Jung often emphasized that the psyche is vast, far larger than most people imagine. The conscious mind is only a small part of the whole. Beneath awareness exists an enormous unconscious landscape. Memories, fears, desires, instincts, patterns, potential. The journey towards self-knowledge is really a journey into that landscape, and like any exploration, it requires courage, because you will encounter things you did not expect, parts of yourself you do not immediately like, truths that challenge your identity, contradictions that force growth. Yet these discoveries are gifts, because every hidden truth that becomes conscious expands freedom. The person who understands their fear becomes less controlled by it. The person who understands their anger becomes less possessed by it. The person who understands their need for approval becomes less dependent on it. Awareness transforms weakness into choice. Choice transforms behavior. Behavior transforms life. This is why self-knowledge is difficult. Not because the truth is inaccessible, but because the truth is demanding. It asks for honesty, responsibility, humility, and courage. Most people spend their lives trying to understand the world. Carl Jung believed the greater challenge was understanding yourself, because the person you understand least may be the person you see in the mirror every day. And the moment you begin seeing yourself clearly, your entire life begins to change.